Yeah, I'd like to welcome everyone. We got a special Sunday night edition of the Comedy Factory Comedy Chat. I got a great friend of mine I've known since the early 1990s. We met. He's a legend in Rhode Island as far as I'm concerned. He's got a book coming out. He's had an awesome movie career. He had a television show that was on for quite a while. He interviewed over 350 sports legends such as Yogi Berra, Bill Russell, Jim McMahon. The list goes on and on. I saw a lot of those shows. He's got a big upcoming event coming on. He's got a lot going on. He's an unbelievable guy. Let's give it up, Billy V. How you doing, Billy?
Johnny boy, it's exciting to be out here with you, buddy. We talked about it for the longest time.
Yeah,
Here we are, bigger than life.
yeah. It's
Um,
great to have you on, Billy. Great to have you on.
well, it's great to be here with you. You know what I mean? It's a special time in my life, and as far as you talk about that intro, I did radio before I did TV, which was awesome. I used to do the pregame show to the New York Yankees.
Oh wow.
Then that jumped to a national syndicated show nationwide. So then that led me into as far as television, and then the television led me into player representation, where I built up relationships with these guys, and they liked me. And I asked them, I said, "Listen, you want to make some extra money? I'm your guy." And before you know it, I started representing all these guys, doing public appearances, doing golf tournaments, billboards, whatever it may be, and it became very lucrative. And at the same time, I had a ball. I was like a rock star. I mean, limousines. I used to tease the guys. I said, "Listen, guys, there's one thing you don't understand. You're gonna make me join NA or AA, because as far as hanging with you guys, because as far as that's all it was a great party and a great time. But we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun, and I don't regret one thing. I mean, I'm excited about what's up and coming. Once again, it's funny, John. I bought a brick at my old high school. They asked me to on the Walk of Fame to buy a brick and put my name and put the year I graduated. And funny enough, to sum up my life, what it all meant. And I put two words. And the two words were test yourself. And as far as I believe, if you never test yourself, you never know what you're capable of. And with that being said, I'm just an ordinary guy doing extraordinary things because I had dreams and I was willing to pay the price to go after them, and I made them come true. But I never thought I'd have to test myself my whole life through. As you know, I'm in for the biggest test of my life here right now.
Yeah, I know you're in for a fight, Billy. The incurable cancer you were diagnosed with, as a hard pill to swallow, I'm sure, and you're fighting hard. I see you on Facebook every day, and we pray for you. And I know you're fighting hard. You're fighting a battle. I know that.
John, as far as this crazy thing, as you know, I you're busy all the time. I was running 100 different directions between movies I was working and getting involved, working as far as my marketing company, doing different events, bringing in celebrities. And all of a sudden, I was supposed to have my knees replaced. And one day, as far as and before I went in, I said to the doctor, I had a spot on my pancreas. And I said, do me a favor. Just give me an MRI on that just to make sure I'm good with that. Because, the pancreas is a serious thing. He says, don't worry about it. Your enzymes are good. Your blood work is great. He says, listen, you don't need it. I said, listen, just do it. Because as far as I want to make sure I have peace of mind. And sure enough, he did it. And it came back that had spots on my liver. That was a whole different program now, as far as that's something I was unaware of. And come to find out after biopsies in 2019, it came back that I had cancer on my liver. Going into the situation, I thought, hey, cancer, they can treat it, they can cut it out, I'd be good. And then all of a sudden, I had the surgery. They cut me from the top of just underneath my rib cage, all the way to my stomach, and they took out the cancer. And then, sure enough, 2 months later, I was cancer free. I says, "Hey, here we go, beautiful, everything's great." Then all of a sudden, it started to come back. And then they told me that they didn't know at the time that I had an incurable cancer called a cholangiocarcinoma of the liver. Now, what bothered me about that whole situation was not just the cancer, it was that unfortunately, you know, the liver, that usually happens to somebody that either drugs a lot or drinks a lot. I didn't do neither. So I got very upset because there was no reason for what I did. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden I found myself totally, my whole life came to a standstill. It was like a bomb hit me. I went off. I was in a million pieces, emotionally, mentally, physically. I don't know which way to turn. And all of a sudden, my life, I says, holy good God, what's going to go on? Am I going to die or what's going on? And sure enough, it's an incurable cancer. And yeah, I can die. And so I turned to my faith because that's all I had left. And as far as, and I prayed to God, and at the same time, I still pray every day. And the journey I'm on now, as far as, is a whole different program because I can't do everything I used to do. So I said, what am I going to do? Because what happened was, Johnny, what the saddest part about it all, just like yourself, you're a visionary. You get to see things and you have to picture things before they happen, and then you make them happen. You know what I mean? And I had to do the same thing. But when they told me I had cancer and it was incurable, I couldn't see anything. I could not see anything in front of me. I couldn't even begin to start envisioning what I could do because I wasn't sure if I was going to be here. That's what was scary, knowing the fact that, you know, if I'm going to live or die. So how do you start something that you don't know if you're going to finish? So with that being said, I decided, I said, you know what? A guy called me up by the name of Joe Broadmeadow, which is my author as well now today, but he reached out to me for a book that he's writing for another guy. And he says, I want your opinion on this subject, and you're going to be in the book the whole bit. And I said, okay, that's great. He says, but I got to tell you something. Your name must have came up 14, 15 times that I should be talking to you about writing a book. And he says, I'd like to write your autobiography. So I said to him, listen, give me about a week to think about it because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Because at first I wasn't sure what's going on. At the same time, you know, which end was up at that time. I was just blasted mentally. And sure enough, I thought about it. I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. So I called him up and I said, you know what, Joe, we're on. So we decided to write a book about my life. And I'm pretty excited about it because it's going to be a tremendous book because, as you know, I've worked with some of the biggest athletes in the world. I've done over 300, 350 athletes, you know, sit down. But what made that unique, Joe, John, was that I had exclusive interviews with these guys, one-on-one interviews. As you know, when you see guys being interviewed, they got 9,000 microphones in front of their face, and they're only getting bits and pieces from everybody. I sat with these guys one-on-one, sat down.
Amazing.
He talked about the human approach. And like I sat down with Lou Brock and I said to Lou, do me a favor. You're one of the greatest base stealers of all time. Take my viewers, which at the time was for television, to Lou Brock's mindset before he steals a base. Where are you going to get that? You don't get that in history books. I didn't want to do just stats. I didn't want to recite how many home runs you had, how many RBIs you had. I wanted the human approach.
Wow.
What made them great. So that way, no matter if it was a kid or a guy looking for inspiration could say, you know what, I could be great too. It's just about how bad you want to go get it. So with that being said, I pride myself in that because I was self-taught. I didn't go to broadcast school. I didn't take the norm where you go to the New England Tech, you get a diploma. They said, okay, you're ready. Because, okay, you're ready to do the interview. But now the question is, can you get to the person? Like I sat, I talked with Mickey Mantle. I sat and I talked with Yogi Berra, one of the greatest of all time. And that's a story all in itself, which will be in the book called Legendary Speaking.
Wow.
Listen to the book.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a quick story about Yogi Berra. I got to know him pretty well, him and his family.
Yeah.
And the best part is I'm supposed to interview him this one day. And when I grew up, my father died when I was 8, Johnny. And my grandfather pretty much came and stepped into the picture. And he was a working slob. He worked 40 years brown bagging at Trafari Jewelry every day. He raised 5 people out of a 2-bedroom apartment. So his chances of ever enjoying life was no to none. But guess what? As far as this day, I'm interviewing Yogi Berra, and he was a Yankee fan. So I tell him, listen, Pop, here's the deal. You're coming to breakfast with me. He didn't know nothing about it. I'm interviewing Yogi Berra. But that day there, I had Steve Krasner from the Journal doing a story on me, as well as my camera people were setting up the cameras at the Holiday Inn Crossings. So I take him. We walk in. He gives me the Italian look. When he walked into the room, because I had a room there to set up the cameras, there was Krasner, there was Joe Caprio with his crew, and he went like this, hey, get guts. Like, in other words, what's going on over here? I said, Pop, relax. We're going to go have breakfast. I said, go sit in the corner. I'll be with you in a minute. I got to go to the bathroom. Little did he know, I'm meeting Yogi Berra in a minute. Yogi Berra comes down from the room I got him. He comes down. Hey, good morning, Billy. Hey, Yogi, good morning. I said, you got to do me a favor this morning, Yogi. You're going to go into the room, follow me, because I'm bigger than you. You're going to walk into the corner and go up to the oldest guy in the corner and go, hey, slap him in the shoulder. Say, Angelo, what are you doing here? Right? Blow his mind entirely. We walk in the room. Sure enough, he goes over to the corner. He hits him in the shoulder. Goes, hey, Angelo, what are you doing here? My grandfather had his head down like this and like taking a siesta. All of a sudden, he looked up at him and went back to sleep, John. I said, are you kidding? This guy went back to sleep on Yogi Berra.
Oh, man.
It must have hit him in the head. This is Yogi Berra. He jumped up. He started talking. Oh, Yogi, I watched you play at Cranston Stadium on the alias Joe Cusano. He went on for 35, 40 minutes. I finally had to say, Pop, listen, I hate to tell you, I got a job to do today. Yogi gets $20,000 for 4 hours. That's a $6,000 conversation. Now I got to get to work. So,
man,
when you talk about one of the highlights of my life of interviewing legends, that was one of them.
Yeah, Yogi Berra. I mean, to spend time with him, unbelievable.
Just to be able to, in this book, unfortunately, I've worked with 350 was the last count. And, I can't fit them all into one book. It would look like War and Peace. It'd be like this big. And I feel bad about that. But I have, as far as a lot of the top interviews I ever did, like I did another interview with Bill Russell. He's a legend from the Boston Celtics. Between him and Yogi, they got 21 championship rings. And I won a national award with him called the Communicator Award. So with that being said, as far as when he came in town, that was special to me because he gave Channel 12, 10, and 6, 3 minutes to 5 minutes apiece. He gave me 48 minutes, and we ended up winning a national award with the interview.
Wow, that's amazing.
And what's beautiful part about it, once again, John, is that, in my book, I talk about my humble beginnings, where it all started in Silver Lake. I came from a broken home. I had a stepfather that was abusive. You know what I mean? I grew up the hard way. Talk about some of my career as an athlete, some of the lessons I learned, my LaSalle years that gave me the foundation. And then we get into as far as some of the great interviews of the guys I worked with. We got a tremendous support from a variety of celebrities that have done forwards for this book. And then we go on to talk about my acting career, which as far as I made a step over after all those years, that came when they thought I had cancer in my neck on my thyroid. The doctor said, you go home and you do property distributions. And as far as you get ready, because we don't know what we're going to get in for once we get in there. And that rattles you. I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh, yeah.
When you hear that, you say, what the hell? Are we kidding me? And so it gave me a chance to reflect on a lot of things. So I said to myself, okay, if I live through this, what would I want to do differently that I didn't do in this life? One was act. The second one, unfortunately, I was unhappily married. I was married 15 years, good girl. I just was unhappily married and it wasn't doing it for me anymore. So I decided that if I live through this, I'm going to get divorced. So sure enough, I had the operation, thank God. They took out the size of a plum out of my neck and it came back non-cancerous. And at that point there, yes, I got a divorce. And yes, I went into acting.
Wow.
And then 26 movies later, I worked with guys like Christian Bale. I did scenes with him as far as in the movie The Fighter. He won an Academy Award for that role in that movie, which is unheard of. And for you people that don't know who Christian Bale is, he's Batman. You know what I mean?
Batman, yeah.
Just to be able to do that. You know what I mean? I worked with Mark Wahlberg, Denzel Washington. I did The Equalizer with him. I did a scene with him. I worked with Eric Roberts. He's Oscar nominated for, I remember Pope of Greenwich Village.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So we got to work with a lot of great actors as well in my lifetime, which once again, even though I was older, goes back to what I told you. You got to test yourself. And I decided that's what I wanted to do. I was old for the age that I wanted to start, but not too old to accomplish the goals I wanted to
I
accomplish.
mean, that amazes me. Like, to think of acting, how do you just say, "Well, I'm gonna go into acting"? Like, I auditioned once for a Benny's commercial, Billy, and I can't act. I can tell jokes, but I can't act. I bombed. How do you in the first place? You could say you want to do acting. I could say I want to do acting, but how do you start? Where do you go? What do you do?
Well, that was funny. At that time, I said to myself the same thing, but you start by going to school. You're going to learn what the craft is all about. If you don't understand what you're doing, how are you going to know what you're doing? So I went to school. I got a basic understanding of what it was all about, how to audition, exercises for breathing. And then from there, next thing you know, you got to do headshots. And then you have no resume. So you put your name into the different casting companies, which I did out of Boston, because unfortunately the film industry wasn't that hot. And then, it's so funny, Johnny. I started landing roles, and I landed a role on a Tuesday night show called Body of Proof out here with Dana Delaney.
I
So
love that show.
Tuesday night on ABC with her, and it's so funny. In my book, you'll see my paycheck. As first was I was an extra. It was like the net pay was $56, and then when I started to speak on TV, it was $856. So what I mean, you're talking $1,000 a day. So I mean, you talk that a significant jump. But once again, when I got in this, I said, if I do one movie, I'm happy. But what the greatest part about it is increased my longevity of life, as far as where my kids, can have the DVDs and watch me on. Like, funny enough, I was on the phone with my son. He was just in town, and we were talking. He's sitting in my living room. We have a TV on behind us as we're talking. And I'm saying, yeah. I said, by the way, turn around, look at your father on Night and Day with Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz. It would blow his mind, you know what I mean? It was pretty wild. I said, Dad, you're over there. Or when the night my daughter, she had 5 of her friends over. So what do I got in common with 5 young girls? You know what I mean? Other than just going by there. So I said to my daughter, I said, do me a favor. See if my movie's on demand, Army of the Damned. I worked with Tony Todd. I don't know if you know who he
Yeah,
is.
Candyman.
Oh,
I love Tony Todd. Candyman.
horror icon. Great guy, great person. He did a great forward. I have nothing but respect and love for him. And we did the whole second half of the movie together, side by side. And funny enough, my daughter's sitting there, and sure enough, she says, Dad, it's on. I said, okay, listen, call whoever you want. Order pizzas, how many pizzas you want, sandwiches, and get me a salad. And then we're going to watch the movie. So the delivery comes from the pizza parlor, right? All the girls are getting their food. They sit down. I say, hey, girl, my daughter says, we're going to watch a movie now. They don't know what's going on. Movie starts. It's a horror movie. Army of the Damned. So make a long story short, starts to play it. Sure enough, 30 minutes into the movie, that's when I come in. All of a sudden, they see me bigger than life, right? They're looking at me, looking at the TV, looking at me, looking at the TV. I said, that's your father. That's your father. Are you kidding? They couldn't believe that I was in the movie and I'm sitting there eating pizza with him. You know what I mean? It was
Crazy.
That's the best. That's the best.
Oh yeah.
Letters from friends of mine that watch different movies that I've been in, and they send me, they take pictures of the TV screen and send me pictures of me on the screen with these different guys and saying they're watching me. You know what I mean? That's the best part about it.
It's gonna be a cool feeling to do a movie and then have people watch it. That's amazing, Billy.
Yeah, it's quite an accomplishment, Johnny, when you think about, where I came from, where I started, how it all began, and then to end up where I ended up. I'm just saddened by, the sudden explosion in my life.
Yeah.
Because fighting this disease right now is the toughest thing I ever did. I'm on chemotherapy. I almost died 2 months ago, where as far as I got rushed into the hospital, I was in the hospital for 9 days. 3 days, I had no mind function. My liver, as far as was failing. I almost died with my arrhythmia and my blood pressure being so low. They had to jumpstart my heart, and 50% of the people die from this procedure. But I wanted to live so much, I didn't even know what I was saying. I said, "Oh, I do it. I live. I want to live," and I didn't even know what I was saying. But thank God I did do it, and I'm here today. But I will tell you, it lost, it burned some of the memory where I had to rebuild all that process again. So it's a constant fight. But with that being said, that's why I'm so excited about this book. For you people out there, if you want to read something that's real, because I'm real as the day is long. At the same time, if you're looking for inspiration, my author, Joe Broadmeadow, is a great author. He's wrote other books. You can look him up. And at the same time, what I also did is I started the Billy V Scholarship Foundation at my old high school at LaSalle Academy, because I wanted to give some young guy and girl a chance that wants to come to LaSalle that may not have all the funds, a chance to experience what I experienced, that they gave me the best values in life. As far as, just my sporting experience alone taught me how to live and survive. Being an athlete is a special thing. When it's 4th and 1 and times get down and you're playing an athlete and you're in the trenches, you can either do one or two things. You can lay down or you fight. And I was taught to fight.
Yeah, you're a fighter, Billy. There's no doubt about that.
And that's what I'm doing, Johnny Boy. I'm just fighting. So with this foundation, it's really taken off. And I haven't even tried yet. We've had some great people come forward. John Ponte started it off with a beautiful donation of $10,000. And then we have other people coming in, Bobby Dillon with another 10,000, people coming in every day, reaching out to me. So with that being said, I'm not making $1 on anything. 100% of my book and proceeds is going to my foundation. So I did that out of the love of my life, and that's going to be my testament when it's all said and done, between knowing that I could tell my story, that maybe it could inspire some kid, some man, some woman to do whatever they want to do. And at the same time, it could help some kid of today to make it a better tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. When's the book coming out, Billy?
Well, John, as far as we put a big shindig together, September 10th. It's a Friday night. For all you people out there, we're just waiting to solidify the deal this week with the casino. It looks like it's going to be at the Twin River Casino. And it's going to be a crazy night. Johnny Boy, you're going to be a part of that great night.
I'm looking forward to it.
And I appreciate, as far as you donating your guys and your time to be a part of this, because for all my fans out there and friends, all I can tell you is this is, I don't want to say it's my last hurrah. That sounds like I'm dying. It's not my last hurrah, but it's one of the biggest things that I'll probably do ever again, because we got, as far as Johnny Perrotta going to be with us. We're going to probably have a band, and then we're going to have a bunch of celebrities. Jim McMahon, the quarterback, 2-time Super Bowl champion, which is in the book with me as well, which I travel around the country with him. He's going to be here signing autographs with the book as well as the author. And then we got a couple of other celebrities that are going to show up from The Sopranos. And so it's going to be a fun-filled night where people are not going to forget this. Tickets going to be probably $100. Be the best 100 you ever spent, because it all goes to the foundation, as well as far as whatever's left there. There's nobody making any money. It's just helping a great cause. But it's going to be a night to remember. I will tell you that. And that's what it's all about, John. I want to live long after I'm here. I feel, as far as, I gave my life, a lot of people come to me and say, "Bill, you've done so much, between working with all the people I met, between acting, radio, television, and just as far as things that I've done between movies." And that's what it is. John, it's one thing to live and another thing to exist. There's so many people that come through this life and want to take the sideline approach and never do nothing. They just want to live, go through it, die off, and that's it.
Yeah.
Life is a gift. I use every day and every moment as a gift. And I learned to appreciate the people that are most kind to me and most loving to me, just like you. And I mean this. I love you, John. I love you for what you've done for me, with your kindness, your prayers. and at the same time, you wanting to do something for the foundation that forever touched my heart. You're in my heart. You know what I mean? And that's special to me.
Well, I love you too, Billy, and everybody loves Billy V. You're inspiration to many people. I remember when I met you, early '90s, and you made a jacket for me, Comedy Factory on the back. I was starting out. We were both a lot younger, and it was a great to meet you. And then through the years, we saw each other and at different shows. You wound up being in one of my shows here or there, and whenever I saw you, always great to me. You're great, always a great guy.
Well, Johnny, I told you. You know what I mean? In life, that's what it's all about, creating a legacy. And I have two children that I love dearly, my daughter Victoria and my son Jonathan.
Yeah.
And I told them, listen, there's only one thing you're going to take in this life. I've been very fortunate to accumulate material things, but also they don't make me, I make them. But I told them there's only one thing, one, that you're going to come with and you're going to leave with, and that's your name. When they say my name or mention my name, I want them to think in a positive way of what I did do, not what I didn't do. And that's why I want to be here to help. And I want to be here long after I'm gone, because I want to help people forever.
Oh, yeah.
So if that's my little way of giving back and helping a kid to live and to get the foundation that I got and to accomplish what I did, it's well worth it, John.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you got two things, Johnny boy. You know what it's like when a doctor says to you, and I'll tell you this since, let's talk real. I had my daughter sit there when I first got diagnosed, and they told me this in 2019. I had 15 months to live. I'm supposed to be dead, John. You realize that?
Jeez.
They told me that in front of my daughter. My daughter was flattened out at her father.
Yeah, I know I was there when my mom got diagnosed.
Fucking unbelievable, man. The biggest man in her life. Tell him, this kid, that's all I got. I said to her, you know what, kid? That ain't me. And there I am, way beyond the 15 months. And guess what? We got a lot more to go. And that's why we're accomplishing. We're not just existing. We're not laying around waiting to die. I had a priest over for dinner one night. And I said to him, Father, I appreciate you being here and I appreciate you blessing me. But don't think you're going to come here and bless me laying down. You're going to find out, you're going to hear about Billy V driving in the woods off the road or something like that when I go, because I'm going to die what I love doing. And that's living. And that's what it's all about to me. I just, I refuse to resign myself to any other way, John.
You gotta live that way, Billy. You know what I mean? That's the way you gotta do it. If people just sit down and say, that's it, you can't do that. You're not that type of guy.
You can't. And that's where, as far as you talk of being able to inspire somebody, forget about just to be or to accomplish what I did. But if anything, if they can take a lesson of mortality, of what it takes, because, life comes at you fast, I get heavy sometimes, because, it does work on your psyche. I mean? You're going to put it somewhere. And I'll tell you what I did. 2 weeks ago, my friend Alan Ward and his girlfriend Patty, I'm very proud of them. They were ex-drug addicts. And they rebuilt their whole life to be very successful. And I had my own encounter with him where he owed me rent money, and I called him in a restaurant once, and I grabbed him, and I said, listen, you're going to pay me or what? I don't care if it's $5 a week, but you're going to pay me. And he paid me. And then he went on to be successful. He does vending and stuff. So he built this safe house or the sober house for people with NA and AA. So he was having his 1 year anniversary 2 weeks ago, and I heard about it. So I was out driving around, and I was very heavy from the day of just thinking about all this stuff coming at me, And instead of feeling bad for myself, I want to give away my pain to make other people feel good about it. So what I did is I stopped by and I pulled into the lot. There's 125 people there. I'll tell you a funny story. I think I mentioned this to you. I get out of the car, I walk in, a lot of people recognize me, some people didn't. And Alan seen me and I said, Alan, I'm here to congratulate you on your 1-year anniversary. I want to tell you you're doing a great job. He says, listen, before you go, you mind talking? I said, no, I'll talk, of course. You know? So I get up there, John, and I walk in front of these people and I said, listen, for you people that may know me, I'm Billy V. But people that may not know me, I'm Billy V. And just to let you know, you're probably saying to yourself, what's this guy that doesn't belong to NA or AA doing here? I says, but I belong to fucking A. You know what I mean? They all started laughing. And then I said, I wanted to tell you something. You listen to me and listen to me good. Tomorrow, you can do whatever you want to do. You reach for your dreams, reach for the stars, because tomorrow is a new beginning. Forget yesterday. That's lived. Because I want to teach you something real quick. You see me? What do they call somebody that does something over and over again and expect different results? You know what they call them? They all yelled out the word insanity. I said, well, say hello to Mr. Insanity. I'm fighting an incurable cancer. And I'm doing the same thing over and over every day and expecting different results. So guess what? You got it better than I do. You just got to realize it and you got to want it. And you got to define what you're looking for because your life can be greater than mine. So I went on talking a little bit more pep talk, but that's what I do with my spare time when I get heavy.
Yeah.
I give it away, Johnny. You know what I mean? That's the way I deal with it. I don't sit around feeling bad for myself because I've had a great life. I mean, I lived 3 lives. You know what I mean? And the same thing, not many people can say that. But it's the thing is at the end of it all, that's what I want to do. I want to be remembered as being a good guy, helping people. And at the same time, I've touched people with doing things that maybe they never thought they could do. Whoever thought I'd be sitting, hanging out? My business partner would be a 2-time Super Bowl champion. I'll tell you 2 scenarios for your viewers out here. When you talk about impossible dreams coming true, you guys know who Jim McMahon is. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champion. On 1986, I'm watching him play 1987, the Super Bowl on Viola Street in Providence on a 3rd floor apartment. Okay? Beating the shit out of the New England Patriots. Fast forward, whoever thought, in 1995 that we would meet and I would interview him and that we'd get to know each other pretty well and then we get to travel together, sleep in the same house, eat in the same table, and represent him. So you talk about a guy coming from a TV into my life and then on top of it being a vital part of my, he's like my brother. He's like a brother to me. He calls me up, calls me, hey, how you doing, V? You okay? Like he's coming in for this thing. He's coming a couple of days early just to spend days with me. You know what I mean? Wow. And there's one more. My idol was Dick Butkus. You know who he was?
Who's that?
Dick Butkus.
Oh, of course. Dick Butkus, yeah.
Now, I interviewed Dick. Now, whoever thought I would interview him for radio and television, he was my childhood idol. I used to carry his trading card in my pocket. I used to wear his shirt, no matter if it was when I was a kid all the way up to I was in high school. You know, whoever thought I had 2 sports stores back in 1990, and a guy came in with a book called Stop Action. Dick Butkus is on the cover. And I said, listen, that's my idol. I'm going to get to interview him. He looked at me like I was crazy. Not only did I get, which is a story you can read in the book, which I don't want to get into too much with your listeners, but as far as make a long story short, who would ever believe that Dick Butkus would not only, I interview him for radio, I interview him for television, but that he would work for me and I would sign his check.
Jeez.
Crazy, right?
That's crazy, Billy.
You talk about crazy things happen. You can make whatever you want happen. The difference is just how bad you want it.
Yeah.
So that's where we're going. September 10th, people. You don't want to forget that day. That's going to be a day. Listen, if you want to be a part of something that's special and you want to have a night that you're not going to forget, I'm not saying it because it's me, but anybody that knows me, I don't do nothing second, half-assed. Because this is my motto. You don't have a second chance to make a first impression. And guess what? For all you people attending that night, not only will you get the regular book, Legendary Speaking, you'll also get a tabletop book, John. We're doing a tabletop book full of pictures, behind the scenes with the celebrities, reaccounting the book. And so you get an extra book that night, as well as far as that you can take home and put on your coffee table. And you can see all the pictures of all the legends. Like there's pictures in there, like with the time I was with Yogi, and I got a picture of Bucky Dent, Craig Nettles, Rick Cerrone, Goose Gossage, Yogi Berra, and me, signed. Which, as far as I hung with them for 2-3 days itself, pictures you just will never see again.
Wow.
If you're a Red Sox fan, I covered you guys as well, Red Sox fans. I got a beautiful picture in the locker room when I interviewed Bobby Dorr, Dom DiMaggio, and Johnny Pesky the same day.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and that's signed. You know what I mean? I got Yastrzemski. I interviewed him, Jim Rice, all those guys.
Loved Yaz.
Yeah, so crazy enough itself, that extra book is going to be something special, because I wanted to do that so people can have fun looking at it as well as something to remember by, you know what I mean, as they go through the book.
Yeah. Wow. So you're a Yankee fan, Billy?
Yeah, I'm a Yankee fan. You know, I grew up with Red Sox itself, and then, you know, my grandfather was a Yankee fan. So, you know, I followed the Mick early on, and then I stuck with him. I'll tell you a funny story about being a Yankee fan. My son, Jonathan, I got tickets. Goose Gossage is a personal friend of mine, the Hall of Fame pitcher for the Yankees. So he calls me up. He says, listen, V, I got you 2 tickets for Old Timers Day as my guest at Yankee Stadium. Are you kidding? That's like going to the Holy Grail. Now, just to go there, the Old Timers Day, they're all there. They all come back for that. So it's 10 o'clock at night, 10:30 at night. I called my son. I said, oh, you going to bed, right? Get some rest. We got to get up early tomorrow morning. We're leaving for New York. He didn't say nothing. I says, hello, you there? He didn't answer me. I says, you're ready, right, for tomorrow? You remember Old Timers Day? He didn't answer me. I says, oh, kid, you listen to me good. What's your problem? I said, I know what your problem is. You're a Red Sox fan. That's what your problem is. You're a Red Sox fan. That's why you don't want to go. Now, here it is, 11 o'clock at night, John. I finally figured out my kid's a Red Sox fan. He would never admit it to me. I said, who am I going to get? I get my cousin, Ronnie Passarelli. He's a diehard Yankee fan because we used to watch the Yankee games together. I called him up. I said, Ronnie boy, you'll never believe this. My son backed out of Old Timers Day at Yankee Stadium. I said, you ready to go? He says, are you kidding? Let's go now. We had a blast. They were all there that day. They all came back. And as far as, you know, it's something like things like that you just never forget. You know what I mean? And that's the beautiful part. Some of the things, you know, and then I got invited to Goose Gossage's Hall of Fame induction as a family member. That was beautiful.
Wow.
You know, that's the best part about it. You know, I got to know these guys on a personal.
Yeah, he's a great guy too. I've heard you say on Facebook and stuff.
Absolutely, Johnny. Absolutely. So you have any questions for me, John? Since I've been going for the last 45, I don't know how long I've been going, but I've been going pretty good.
Well, number one, you got a lot of fight in you, Billy. I got to tell you that. I got diagnosed about 6 years ago with kidney cancer, but mine wasn't like yours, incurable. They caught it early. They said we can do what's called an ablation. They put a needle in. It turns the cancer to scar tissue. I get checked every year. So far, I've been okay.
God bless.
I faced it like you're facing it. You got to face it head on, and you're facing yours head on, and you're still here. You were supposed to be gone. So to me, you're a miracle. You're a fighter. I see a lot of fight you got in you. You know what I mean? So you're not going to give up. You're not going to sit down and give up. And I didn't either. You can't. You can't. Like you said, we got life. We're here today. That's all anybody has. We wake up today, and that's all we got. You could be a multi-billionaire. You got today. You can't buy tomorrow. Nobody can buy tomorrow. If I wake up in the morning, it's another day, and now I got today. That's it. I live the same way because you can't. We can't buy tomorrow. If anybody could buy it, imagine if you could say, let me buy another 20 years of life. You can't do it.
I'll be first in line.
Yeah, that would be great if we could all do that. But it's one day, and you take it and you fight hard, and I like that.
Well, John, real wealth, which I've been surrounded by, millionaires and billionaires in my life. And I found the real answer what real wealth is the memories you share with the people you care and love most. That's all you have. Because you ain't taking cash with you. You ain't taking jewelry with you. You ain't taking cars with you. All you're going to do is leave the memories that you shared together. And that's what I told you earlier. That's why I love you. Because you're going to share a night with me that's going to live forever. And at the same time, we're tied together forever, buddy.
Yeah.
And we're as far as, just like these athletes. Listen, these athletes and these celebrities, they didn't have to do anything for me. But that makes me feel good that I left that great of an impression of an individual that they felt me as an equal. You know what I mean? And that's the beautiful part about that all in the end, as far as when you say, okay, you do a job. I didn't have a job. I had an existence. I loved it. There was no beginning and there was no end. And that's why when all of a sudden something bigger than me and bigger than life came to me and stood in my way, you know what I mean? Like it just blew me away. But it's not, okay, you knocked me down. Do you ever see the Raging Bull?
Yeah.
When Nick LaMotta's in the ring with Sugar Ray Robinson and he's getting hit left and right and he goes, you ain't knocking me down, Ray. You ain't knocking me down. And that's what happened. You know what I mean? He can hit me, but I ain't going down. You know what I mean? So
You got a lot of fight. Now, what about your movies? If you had to pick 2 or 3 of your favorite movie roles over the years, what would you say they are?
Well, I'll tell you, number one was doing a scene with Christian Bale in the movie The Fighter and him winning an Academy Award for that role. Not every day. It's like you doing Ben-Hur with Charleston Heston, man. You know what I mean? The guy's in the movies and then he wins an Academy Award. It just doesn't happen every day. And then you got as far as Tony Todd. Tony Todd, Candyman, can't say enough about him. Because not only did we have a friendship, we would talk because he only did 245 movies.
Yeah.
What's so crazy, Johnny? I'm watching TV one afternoon and there's the movie The Rock. Did you ever see that?
The Rock.
The Rock.
Is that the one with Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery?
No.
No.
They had there was 3 guys in there. As far as Tony Todd was in there, he played with me. William Forsythe, which I worked with, as well as the other one was what the hell is his name? He played in The Green Mile. David Moss.
Oh yeah.
I did a movie with him, and it's funny. I'm sitting there watching one movie, and I acted with 3 guys. So it's kind of crazy, you know what I mean? You sit back and you look at life that way, and when you put on TV's not the same anymore. You know what I mean?
What was the name of it? The Rock?
The Rock.
I got to look that up.
Yeah, it's a pretty good movie. I watched half of it. So, you know what I mean? And then to see all the guys together was pretty wild.
Wow.
I worked with them,
Yeah.
And my third, I would say, would be Eric Roberts. I had a lot of fun with Eric. I did a movie called Self-Storage with him.
Oh, yeah. That was a great movie.
Yeah. And funny enough, as far as he got a kick out of my toys, because he found out I collect cars. I have a Rolls Royce, and he came down my garage. So I took him out one day in the Rolls Royce, and then I have my Bentley. I have a Bentley parked in my garage as well, and I took him to the garage. So he's jumping in the Bentley. Went from there to I have a motorcycle too, a custom Kawasaki Mishri. He said, "Listen, please." I said, "I got to take some pictures. You on my stuff? You're all over my stuff." Right? And he said, "Please don't show my wife. She'll kill me because I had a bad bike accident. I promised her I'd never get on a bike again." I said, "Don't worry about it. These stay between me and you." So the fact of the matter is, he was like a little kid jumping all around. You know what I mean? In the garage, it's like playland over there. So he was a lot of fun because he was a good guy. Good guy.
Yeah.
So those are my 3 top. And then, of course, just to be in the scene, I did a scene with Denzel Washington. There's a 2-time Academy Award winner.
Yeah, I saw that scene. Yeah.
But, well, you just to watch him work, you know what I mean? It's amazing.
He's one of my favorite actors, Denzel Washington. He's really
a talent.
much.
You know what pisses me off if I had a chance, one of my favorite guys I never got to meet was Jack Nicholson.
Oh yeah, I love Jack Nicholson.
I would have loved to meet him. I think me and him would have hit it right off.
Yeah, yeah,
I got a picture that's in my house that when you ever see him in The Shining when he comes through the door,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
I'm home, honey, I'm home, mate. Well, I did a movie called Irish Whisper where I kill a guy. And as far as, in acting, they call it in the moment. It's a crazy thing, John. When you do a scene, you leave your body. It's like you're living it. And when I killed this kid after I got done torturing him for a little while, for 2 days, I thought I killed the kid. It just my whole body, my mind was on that mindset. Just I was in it. And I got a picture of me. Somebody took one of the set guys of me smiling up, and it's like red. It looks like the devil. And I know I just put the kid to sleep. And I put Jack Nicholson over here and got me over here, both smiling like we're both out of our heads. So I would love to meet him and say, Jack, here's what you got over there. I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you.
I got to give you credit though, Billy. 'Cause, I mean, anybody could say, yeah, I want to get into acting, but you're a doer. You're not. Some people say they want to do this, say they want to do that. You went on and did it like that. Like I wouldn't even know where to begin. Like I got into comedy, yeah, I did that, but as far as acting, like I wouldn't even know where to begin. You know what I mean? They could look so insurmountable. You know what I mean? To let me go be an actor. I mean that to me to accomplish and be in movies and TV shows, that's like an amazing accomplishment because that's not something anybody can just. You could say it all day long, but you went on and did it, and to do it, and the success you had with it, and the actors you met and worked with, it's unbelievable.
Well, I will tell you this, in the acting world, you got to like rejection because, I'm a big guy, as you know. And as far as you can give the best audition in the world. So if the director's looking for a guy that's a little small, a little thin, a little shorter, you're not going to get the part, even though you did a great job. So as far as you got to like rejection, and
Yeah,
what that means is you got to keep going.
yeah,
You forget that rejection, move on to the next one. And that comes back to what I told you earlier. I had to sum up my life, test yourself.
yeah,
If you never test yourself, you will never know what you're capable of.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, success is not overnight.
Nah,
I mean, it takes years to be successful. And this is what this compilation of my life is all about in this book. And at the same time, as far as what the celebration's about, that I lived and that that I was able to touch people. And at the same time, to celebrate along with me that I was able to, if I can inspire somebody, like I have a lot of people that reach out to me and thank me for inspiring them through my hell. And even at the same time, what I do and what I did. And that's what I was supposed to do. You know what I mean? In life, with your success, you know what I mean? I give mine away because it's no good. I knew so many people with so much money that was so miserable because they didn't want to give anybody anything. They wanted to keep it all to themselves. They didn't want, as far as tell them a secret or help a kid out. That's what it's all about, buddy.
yeah, yeah,
Share, giving to the next people coming up.
yeah.
Give it up in hand. Don't step on their feet while you're trying to pick them up.
Right.
That's what I'm all about, buddy. I'm about the next, and I'm about as far as sharing what I was able to do.
Well, you got a huge heart, Billy. I mean, I always admired you from when I met you. I can still see you in your Gansett Ave in Cranston. You had your spot there for your business, and you made my jacket, and I can still see you standing there. We were 30 years younger, but you were first time I met you. I thought you were a super guy, and every time after, you were always good to me.
Johnny, you know better just as much as I do. As far as, in my business, no matter how good you are, there's people that wish you bad because
Yeah.
they don't, they either can't do what you do. They don't want to pay the price you do. And as far as they always want to hold you back because if you go forward, you make them look bad. But I tell those, my friends, I say, listen, I don't worry about those people. I don't worry about haters because they make me who I am. Just like the guy that doesn't want to do anything in his life. He makes me who I am because as far as if he did what I was doing, then I have somebody else doing what I'm doing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
I mean, I don't feel, I don't feel bad for them, but I don't feel good for them either. I just, as far as just know, I concentrate on what I'm doing. See, I don't worry about small talk because when you make small talk, you have to have a small mind. I don't have time talking about other people and wishing them bad and what they're doing. There's people out there that, you know, I mean, that love and thrive on that. That's a waste of time. Talk about something positive. Let's do something productive. Let's make something happen, baby.
Yeah, yeah.
My friend said to me the best the other day. He said, V, before you get, and we go out to dinner, he says, before you get there, we're just a gathering. When you get there, it's a happening. And that's what I like to do. I like to make shit happen, and I like to make it happen in a big way.
Well, Billy, I mean, you're in the fight of your life. You're not sitting down. You're fighting. You got the book coming out. You got the big event coming up on September 10th with Jim McMahon and guys from The Sopranos. And
John Perrotta's going to be there.
I do a little comedy with Brian Vincent and the Prince of Mystery. I got a comedy magic guy. He's really funny. Those guys are really good. And I'm really looking forward to it. And I just, it's an honor to really always have been your friends with you through the years. And like I said, I always admired you. And I admire you even more now because I know you're in a fight, and I like the way you're going about it. You're not sitting down. And my mother got, lung cancer back in 2003. They told I was sitting there with her, and they said you got an incurable aggressive lung cancer, and you may have 3 months to live. And she lived about 3.5 months. And you're fighting it, and you just the way you're fighting it and carrying yourself in the book coming out, you got so much going on. It's like you don't give up, Billy, and you can't.
I won't even acknowledge it, John. I don't acknowledge it. I don't let it take up that much space in my head anymore. I pray every day to Padre Pio, but that's another story for another day. As far as where I had an intervention with a guy I met that was his compadre over in Italy, and he prayed over me, and some great things have happened since then. And this guy was married by the saint, Padre Pio. So funny, it blew my mind. He baptized his kid. I got pictures of the saint marrying him. And I said to him, listen, Layla, in my day, in my business, I interviewed 300, 350 guys. But I never met a guy that knew a saint. The only saint I knew was Anthony St. Laurent, as far as he came from Johnston. You know what I mean?
You're gonna open a comedy show, Billy. You're funny. That's so funny, man.
Listen, that's I told you that. That's one thing on my bucket list that I'm gonna do one night. I'm gonna take you up on it. I'm gonna come up on stage and I'm gonna do a routine. I may come out on a toilet, the sit down comic, come out on the bed, whatever, but I'm dying to do comedy one time. I gotta try myself.
Whenever you're ready, Billy, I got shows coming up. Whenever you're ready, we'll put you in there. You're in the bullpen. All I got to do is call you in the bullpen. In comes Billy V.
Give me the tap. You just give me the tap, John. As soon as I'm done with this event, September 10th, that might take you up on that for October or November.
I'll be ready for you, Billy. You know that.
I'll be your Christmas special. I'll come out with a big bow on me.
That'd be awesome to have you in the show, Billy. I would love that. I would love that. That'd be great. I know you get laughs because you got that. Your personality is big and larger than life. You got that personality, so I know you. I know whatever you take on, you'll be successful. I think you do get a lot of laughs. I really believe that.
I get a lot of laughs just because of who I am, John.
Great guy, Billy. Anything you got to say? You want to say to wrap it up, Billy? We covered a lot of stuff.
Johnny, listen, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much. And it's been great. I'm glad we finally made this happen. You know what I mean? At the same time, for you viewers out there, check my man John Perrotta out as far as his acting, his routine. He works hard. At the same time, I'm going to say it again one more time. Johnny, thank you. Thank you from my heart. And I mean it. I love you, buddy. I love you for as far as caring, praying for me. And at the same time, being a part of my event, but even more so, just being a great friend. Thank you so much. And I thank you for having me on the show.
I'm honored, Billy. You've been a great guest, Billy V. Wish you the best a day at a time. My prayers are with you every day. You know that. And I met your son, Jonathan. We had breakfast last week.
Yeah.
You got a great, I haven't met your daughter yet. Look forward to meet her. You got a great family, great support system, you girl and everything. God bless you, Billy. And I'll see you soon.
Yes, September 10th. Anybody got inquiries? I'm on Facebook, Billy V, Vigeant. Come to me, send me an inbox. I'll fill you in of all the details. Tickets are going to go quick. So that's going to happen. And at the same time, I got a fan page. You want to check out the fan page. You'll have a lot of fun. You'll see some great pictures. Me and Michael Jordan, Joe Pesci, different guys I play golf with, as well as you get to see some stuff that I can't cover in an hour, unfortunately, but you'll have a treat if you go to the fan page. Johnny, thank you so much again, buddy.
All right, Billy. We all love you. Everybody loves Billy V, man. I love you. We'll
Thank
see
you.
soon, Billy.
Love you, buddy.